Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Together with the closure of the special account for those above 55, CPF also raised the Enhanced Retirement Sum or ERS ceiling, allowing all of us to top up an extra $100,000 into our retirement account. So here's the big question. Should you top up all the way to the RA maximum of 426,000? I'll share with you my thoughts about it and also explain why my wife and I have chosen not to do so. If you stick around to the end, I'll share a strange little idea which I'll call the risk pool of two as extra food for thought. With all that said, let's get started. CPF Life works like a traditional annuity. You put in a lump sum as principal, let it compound for a fixed period of time, and in return, you get to enjoy monthly payouts for as long as you live. It is designed to give peace of mind in retirement with lifelong income, providing older Singaporeans with a financial safety net in their golden years. Both my parents actually bought private annuities before CPF Life existed, so this idea isn't new. What makes CPF Life stand out is the return. At around 4%, it is by far the best annuity scheme out there. And I totally understand why many Singaporeans find it so attractive to just top up their RA to ERS. No need to think, no stress at all. I so totally get it. My wife and I, however, decided not to top up and stick to FRS. We have a number of considerations, and I will share the three main ones. FRS for the two of us right now is going to total up to 426,000 based on 2025 numbers, while the ERS is going to be double that. So the difference between the two is $400 over $1,000. And this amount is going to be locked up from age 55. And this decision is irreversible. We really cannot be sure that after 55, that there won't suddenly be a situation where we will need this sum of money. 400,000 is a large amount of money, which we can use to do lots of things. So that's our first consideration. For our second consideration, we feel that topping up to ERS, or for that matter, any private annuities, will not align with how we envisage our retirement phases. During my gerontology course, I've read a number of studies that have shown that consumption during retirement isn't a constant straight line. Spendings tend to be higher in early retirement. I mean, it's logical, right? With more time, early retirees can pursue new hobbies, travel, and maybe spend on big ticket items like home renovations, or in my case, a modern classic motorbike to prepare for a new phase of life. All this will need money, and we think having the resources to tick off items on our bucket list will make us happier than seeing a larger amount coming into our bank accounts every month. Of course, there's always going to be a risk of overspending and needing to tighten our belts later. But ultimately, this is a personal choice that goes beyond just the numbers. My wife and I have always been disciplined and rational with our finances, and we don't see that changing with age. We have been managing our own budgets all our lives, and we are confident we won't suddenly lose that ability. So for us, the flexibility to YOLO a little bit is worth giving up a bit of return and having a lower monthly payout. There are certain things that once you see, you cannot unsee. The cost of risk pooling, which I explained in episode 2, happens to be one of those things. So on the one hand, while ERS can guarantee a higher lifelong income, but we know ourselves the best. I know that if I receive some bad news from my doctors at 80 years old, plus minus 1 or 2 years, I will be really annoyed that I voluntarily deprived my loved ones of 150,000 inheritance, especially when I know that there is a simple alternative like the composite 4% portfolio. So there you have it, the three big considerations that led us to our chosen approach. And here's what we have decided. We'll be putting the full retirement sum, or FRS, into our retirement accounts for both of us, whatever the amount will be when we turn 55 in 3 years' time. Whatever excess we have in our OA, which I estimate to be around 350 to 400,000, will go into a composite 4% portfolio aimed at matching CPF Life's returns. By doing this, we get to enjoy the good features of both systems. CPF Life gives us lifelong income, though at about half the amount compared to ERS, and the 4% portfolio will not only supplement that, but more importantly, gives us the flexibility to adjust according to our retirement phases and life costs. It also helps mitigate the potential cost of risk pooling, especially if we pass on around 80, allowing us to leave some inheritance for our loved ones. And now that you have reached the end of this video, I will keep my promise to share this weird observation or idea that I have, which I'm calling it the risk pool of two. Now, in traditional sense, risk pooling works best when you have large numbers so that you can minimize the small sample size bias. And that's why CPF Life correctly includes every Singaporean and there's no opting out. So you'll be wondering how to just risk pool 2%. Hear me out. As I was running the numbers for CPF Life, I made an observation. The age of the break-even point, which is when the 4% portfolio reaches zero, is 89. This seems a bit longer than what I recall from my gerontology course. Therefore, I did a quick check. Based on the Department of Statistics, the life expectancy at 65, based on 2024 numbers, is 19.5 for males and 22.7 for females, with a weighted average of 21.2. In case my viewers are not familiar with this parameter, life expectancy at 65 means that at 65, males will live an average of 19.5 more years, so that will add up to 84.5, while for females, it will add up to 87.7. So 89 is not an unreasonable number, with a bit of buffer built in, so that the scheme is sustainable and does not need to make big changes to the monthly payouts once they start at 65. And so the risk pool of 2 potentially works because of this small buffer. It tilts the balance in a small way that makes breaking even slightly less than 50%. Say 1 in 2 in the pool pass on at 85. Then there will be 4 years worth of money left in the 4% composite portfolio, which will give the survivor another 4 years runway, allowing him or her to reach 93. This kind of risk pooling between 2 people doesn't have to be limited to husband and wife. It could just as well be between siblings, cousins, other relatives, or even close friends. As long as the 4% composite portfolio stays in the CPF OA account, this can be easily arranged with a CPF nomination. So I'm just putting this idea out there as extra food for thought for my viewers. Some final thoughts. CPF Life is a great scheme that provides a solid foundation for retirement adequacy in Singapore. It is the bedrock for us to build our retirement nest egg on, which is the reason why we can sit here and discuss all these variations around the main theme. But a system designed for the masses will always have its limits. And whether to top up all the way to ERS is a personal decision. I hope this video has shown that beyond the numbers, there are intangible factors to consider, like how to align the finances to support your retirement plans and strike a balance between leaving a legacy and securing a lifelong income. And that's why it's worth taking the time to tailor it to your own life and priorities. If this helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.